Hi, I'm Tammy Crane. I'm the Executive Director and founder of 410 Ministries. If you aren't familiar with what 410 Ministries is, we are a nonprofit Christian organization that reaches out to women in the strip club industry. What this video is going to do is give you a little snapshot of some of the opportunities that God has given us to share with those in these really dark places.
So there was a night where I was able to share the gospel message with a girl who desperately needed it. She was in a really low spot. And later, she motioned me to go into the smoking room. And the smoking room is really loud and rowdy. And so I go with her, and she said, share with this guy what you shared with me. And so I had the opportunity to share the gospel message again. But this time it was different, because as soon as I said the name Jesus, God silenced the smoking room. Everybody stopped talking, and I was able to clearly and loudly proclaim the message of Jesus Christ. It was amazing.
I recently reconnected with a woman who I had met about a year ago who is dealing with the loss of a family member, and she told me that she has been making a lot of poor choices in her life lately, and she was really angry with God. But something told her to seek Him, and so she came over and spoke with the church ladies that night. And I was just able to sit with her for a little bit and confirm her feelings. And I explained that we don't always understand why these bad things happen to us, but God is in control, and it's important to have faith for that reason, so we can get through those moments that we feel like there's nothing we can do and we just don't understand.
When one of the dancers came up and asked who we were, and we said, well, people call us the church ladies, and she's like, well, then why are you in here? And we just were saying, well, we want to share the love of Jesus and that we do love you and care about you. And she said, really? This is my only other interaction was I would be outside at another club doing a smoke break, and a van would drive through the parking lot yelling and saying that we were all going to burn in hell.
Yes.
So I was like, wow.
I want to share with you one of my most memorable stories. It was about a customer who was a regular at one of the clubs. He was there every week. And one night before we went into the club, as we were praying, we were convicted to pray for his salvation. When we went into the club, it wasn't 5 minutes, and he made a beeline over to our table and asked us if he could sit down. He explained to us that he had a friend who was dying of cancer, and he just couldn't understand how this friend of his and his wife could be at such peace knowing that he was going to die. So we asked him a few questions about his friend and figured out quickly that he was probably a believer. So we explained to him that he could have peace because he knew where he was going when he died. We looked at the customer and we said, do you know where you're going when you die? And he pointed up and he said, well, only the man upstairs knows that question. And so God just opened up the opportunity to share with the customer about the gospel of Jesus Christ and how he could know for sure where he was going to go when he died.
The prostitute, her mom taught her to prostitute when she was 15. And I think she was in her early 20s now. And that's the only thing she's ever done for money. And she didn't feel qualified to do anything else. And when she learned who we were, she had tears running down her face. And she said, why would ladies like you want anything to do with us? And so then we were able to share the incredible love of Jesus with her. And it was just a powerful moment.
I met a guy in the club one time who started sharing things with me that were very inappropriate, and I interrupted him, and I said, I should probably tell you who I am. And so I told him that I was a church lady, and he immediately got hostile with me. And he told me that he was a Satan worshiper. And my response to him was in love and kindness, even so. And over time, as I kept seeing him in the club, I continued to respond in love and kindness. And God did some neat things, and he transformed our relationship into a friendship. And one of the last times I saw him, he actually, I asked him how things were going, and he said, you know, I have a struggle between my mind and my heart. And of course, in that moment, I was praying for him, saying, God, do your thing. And I don't know where he is, but I pray for him often.
I remember a night where there was a dancer that we prayed for her because she was very distraught. About 6 months later, I saw her again, and I gave her a big hug, and she pulled me aside and she said with a huge grin on her face, I read my Bible every day now, and I gave my life to Christ. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't prayed for me that night.
One that had an impact on me, which I still get a kick out of, is the one that we gave a Jesus Loves Strippers Bible to. And she posted a picture of it on Facebook as a mockery. But then curiosity got the best of her. Mm-hmm. And she told us that she started reading it. And then she started believing in herself and that she never wanted anything to do with God before that. But now she even made her roommate read it. And she said, I even went to a church on Sunday and liked it. And then she said, please don't ever stop coming in because it really does change lives.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've heard some stories, I know we didn't put any faces to the stories, but I hope you understand that each one of these stories represent women who have had a very difficult past, and they have broken hearts. But more importantly than that, God's heart is broken for these women. So we hope that this evening you'll allow God to break your heart for what breaks his.